Hello, Internet.
I was trying to go early on purpose.
This is not the Desert Island Institute of Film. No, au contraire, mon frère. This is the Desert Island Time Machine. Ooh, where we're going to take you into the future.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
We're going to show you exactly what is going to happen in 2024. We are your prophets, your fortune tellers, your purveyor of things to come.
The cards can reveal things that you will never see by yourself. Call me now for your free tarot reading.
Call 1-800-980-8637.
Just call me Oz.
And
Call
I'm
him
Nostradamus.
Dorothy.
That's even better.
Here's what we suggest you do. Take everything you own, right? Everything. Sell it.
Give it to us.
Go to Vegas and bet on everything, the sure things that we absolutely have looked into the future and have seen, bet on it. And just like Biff in Back to the Future, you're going to have obscene amount of wealth.
Yes.
We guarantee it. Now, this is where you have a crawler across the bottom saying, you know, some kind of a, you know how they do things, like, and you'll have fine print.
That phrase is trademark, not to use outside tradition, Ricky Bobby.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Paul.
I'm Diet Dr. Paul.
And if this is your first, this is 2024, Happy New Year to you. This is our YouTube movie show every Thursday, dropping new episodes.
Why is that a better name, the YouTube movie show?
What is it?
Why is that a better name, the YouTube movie show? I don't know. That'll make me feel bad.
Father, son, and I don't know what he's going to say. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. We just talk about movies same way that you do, you know, with your family or your friends, kind of stuff. Our goal here is obviously to have fun, and we do have fun together. I like this time. It's a high point of my week. But also, we want to pass something on to you, something new and different, exciting, a film that maybe you haven't seen or heard. Mm-hmm. This is a different episode because we're not going to be presenting films.
No.
We are going to look into the future and tell you what is going to happen in 2024. So prepare for it. Yeah. Strap yourself in.
Swami says.
Swami says. Yes. I may need to go into trance several times into the...
What's the meaning of life?
Who is my real father? Will I ever find a husband?
Am I gonna get sick? Does God really exist?
For centuries, people have turned to one man for the answer to life's great mysteries. That man is Negrodamus.
Was this a difficult...
This one was a little more difficult than the last one, yeah.
Yeah?
Just because I didn't want to just say things that were obvious, you know?
Well, I didn't say things that were obvious. I truly looked into the future.
Yeah.
I saw your future.
That's what I wanted to do.
I saw what's going to happen to you in 2024.
Oh, no. Here's a raincoat.
Oh, I just hope that I'm around to see it.
Depending on how it goes, we'll see.
All right. Who wants to go first?
You didn't look into your crystal ball to figure that one out?
I can. Oh, I can.
Number 7. Ow! What the hell are you doing?
Okay.
Oh, the dog's barking.
Oh my goodness. I would never... Oh, I'm shocked. I just saw the 2025 Oscars. Every single film nominated for Best Picture. In fact, they expanded the number of films qualifying for Best Picture. Every single one was DC. Seriously, Batman, Superman, The Flash, Wonder Woman, Superboy, Challengers of the Unknown,
Nobody's
Adam.
heard of these.
Every single one of those directed by, wait a minute, I see Scorsese, I see Spielberg, I see Christopher Nolan. They're all written by Alan Moore or Frank Miller. Every single one of those. My goodness. I have chill bumps.
What's happening?
Every single movie nominated for Best Picture in 2024 is a DC film. Every single one.
What are you talking about?
That's my prediction for it's not a prediction, it's a sure thing.
I didn't think there was that many DC movies coming out this
Well,
year.
they're all new ones. These are a hush hush. It all sort of happened. I mean, don't you think the world deserves high quality DC?
I absolutely believe that, yes.
I do too. I mean, it is, you talk about the pedigree, and the thing that DC has always done is they've always been sort of, model breakers and mold breakers and doing new and innovative things and not
moldy,
copying.
that's for sure.
Oh, we've just, if they get back to doing what they originally did, which is all about story and just, and being creative and taking chances and not repeating, not replicating what other people have done, which I believe that's what Marvel has done, is repeated a lot of stuff.
Oh, it pisses people off.
Regurgitated a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm like, would not this would be worth going to the
would
movies.
be good, yeah.
Yeah. And, Alan Moore, which I don't think you have an affinity for him. And he obviously wrote the V for Vendetta. He did Watchmen. He did Swamp Thing. That it is high art between him and Frank Miller, the writing on that, the Dark Knight. I mean, why are you laughing?
All right, number 7. All right.
I'm a lot more prophetic than you.
Yeah, I guess so. My number 7 is there's an untitled Universal horror film coming out this year. And it's not whichever one you said. And it's actually going to be good.
And I believe it possibly has something to do with Dracula.
Dracula's daughter.
Yes.
And that was weird that they picked that, which is why I thought it could be good. For the very same reasons that the old ones have been bad, though. Because you talked about this in the last video, that there were kind of been hit or miss. Invisible Man was good. You talked about, what was the one you talked about last time? That's coming out this year.
Wolfman.
The Wolfman. I like werewolf movies, but I think this one should be good. They got 2 guys working on it that worked on the new Scream movie, Scream 6. They also worked on Ready or Not, which I think that's the one about the bride that gets brought to like some family game night, but she's really going to get murdered or something, which was kind of an interesting premise. But I have faith in this one.
It actually, what you just said is true. It happens.
It happens?
I have seen it. And not only that, but it makes perfect sense. I've seen it already. I was there. All right. You and I were sitting next. We were eating popcorn. Dracula's daughter, if you look at sort of how those films went, when, a lot of times that you get the cycle through all the Wolfman films and Frankenstein, when you got to the end, this is one of those characters where Dracula's daughter was really quite good. It was very sort of a different spin on it, and I think that's kind of interesting. And in the same way that the Invisible Man was a female, lead character kind of stuff, this is good. That could be exciting kind of stuff. And there's also a Frankenstein. Lisa Frankenstein, I think.
Yeah, I don't know though. That seemed kind of.
Yeah.
It's got the girl from Freaky in it, and
I've seen it. In the future, it's not that
didn't
good.
think
It's not
it's
as
very
good as
good either.
Dracula's daughter.
I didn't need to see in the future to know that one.
Yeah. No. You are. Good choice.
Number 6.
I'm reading a newspaper. What does it say? Federal law has been enacted, which makes talking in movie theaters death penalty.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh, it is. And either every theater now will have a room for either lethal injection. You have a choice. If you're caught talking in the theater, lethal injection or forced 24 hours of forced viewing of Will Ferrell movies.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
Either of those would kill a person.
That sounds like a good time to me.
It was what, 24 hours of Will Ferrell movies?
Absolutely.
Well, don't go in the theater and start talking, because it's a dangerous time.
I'm not
to
a
be
movie talker. I'm an enforcer of the movies.
I know, and that's how you're going to get shot someday. Because
Yeah.
it is a crazy world that we live in.
You bring your grandma on a movie with me, with your wife to talk during the movie.
I was in the Greek, my big fat Greek wedding years ago, and sitting there, and Heather and I are sitting there, and somebody, and I finally turned around, it was 3 women. I said, "Are you going to talk during this entire movie?"
And she said yes.
Yes. What do you say to that kind of thing?
Fair enough. So I would talk through it too, because you were watching my big fat Greek wedding.
Yeah, I'm wimped. No, I'm the headline, it's there. Congress finally passes a law that I can get behind. No.
Who put their head on this bill? Strom Thurmond?
He's dead.
God, I can't wait for that. Do you know when that happens?
March 17th, 2024. Yes.
17th.
Write it down.
Oh, okay. Well, that's in time to see Nosferatu. So, yeah, we're good. And Mickey 17 comes out the 29th, so.
Okay.
So we won't have to murder anyone in Mickey 17. Now, I had a dream about this, okay? And I know what you're going to say already. So you know Madam Web's coming out. Madam Web is not going to be as bad as you think it is. It's going to be worse.
Yahtzee!
It's going to be so bad. I'm sure that it's going to cause cardiac arrest and bleeding from the eyeballs. They're going to need to put a ticker warning on this sucker. You're going to have to get your heart checked. You're going to have to sign a waiver before they let any preteen children in to watch this film. Don't take your kids to see this. Just walk into oncoming traffic. If you saw Madam Web and you thought, now that looks like a movie that I'd like to see, I hate you.
I've already seen the future where I paid not to see it.
Yes, that in fact might be an apt business model for the Madam Web production crew, is pay people pay you to not release the film.
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. So thus far,
DC's on fire.
well, I mean, you're in Vegas. Put your money down.
Because I'm pretty sure Madam Web's Marvel. Number 5.
Oh, yes, finally. Concession prices drop to 1960 level. I just got a
$10 Coke?
a large popcorn for 75 cents and a drink for 35 cents. And more,
Free refills?
the theater owners get their well-deserved money. They don't go broke on this thing. They no longer have to up the prices of the concessions because that's the only way that they can make money.
Now, how the hell did that happen?
I think it has something to do with a revolt against the studio system.
Not oil prices?
Yeah, I'm just, that would be wonderful. So now you can sit in a theater, a quiet theater, eating your snackage, and not have to take a car loan.
Well, that's a catch-22 because if you're in the theater eating popcorn, it ain't a quiet theater.
Whatever
Scratching at
do
the
you
corner of the
mean by
bucket like
that?
a rat in the wall. Just scuffing the bottom of the bucket.
I resemble that remark.
Oh,
He's trying to say that I make a lot of noise eating popcorn.
He eats it very quickly, at least.
Well, do you do one kernel at a time?
No, but I don't get to the bottom of the bucket by the end of the movie.
Why not?
And I'm eating the whole time.
Why don't you get a smaller popcorn?
Don't worry about my popcorn consumption when it's quieter than yours.
Well, of all the predictions, why do I keep calling predictions? These are not predictions.
Well, because
These
they
are
come true in your head.
actuals for 2024.
All right.
How
Number
important
4.
is it to you to have concessions in a movie?
I used to not ever get stuff in the movie, but that's because I was poor and young, and they get your first job, you can buy popcorn in a movie now. But I didn't think of this, so we started going to the movies pretty regularly again. That you got popcorn, and I'm like, well, what the heck? And now it's like I gotta have that. It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have 4,000 calories worth of soda and popcorn.
First
probably
taste is free.
Probably more than that, to be honest. So it's like all I eat for the day. But the NCG fosters that as well, which we go to a theater, because it's all you can eat popcorn and drinks and all that good stuff.
And you can put, and it's got your own self-serve butter. It's like a gas pump.
Yeah, it pretty much is a gas pump. Dip the bucket in. It's a trough of butter.
All I need now is Hershey bars the size of the screen doors.
Yeah, those are expensive though. This, I may have teased this one. Kevin Costner will be nominated for an Oscar this year. And you may have said it too in the last video for Horizon. I think he's going to get the nod. I believe he's acting in it too, I believe. I think there's some chance there. But I think, like you said, that's going to be a good one. And your boy's going to get nominated. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
What you say is true.
What I say is true.
Little one. He does not win, but he is nominated. Yes.
I didn't say he'd win.
Yes. That is true. Go ahead. Las Vegas. Put your money down. Serious. No, I like it. You have anything else to say about
That was an easy one.
It was.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it was.
Number 4.
Steven Seagal makes one last great film. In fact,
Is it about Jabba the Hutt?
no, au contraire. In fact, it is so good that they retire the genre because nobody wants to make another action film. In fact,
Sweaty Samurai.
I see the set, and he shows up for the first day on set, and he appears to have lost maybe 200 pounds. He is svelte and limber, and it is amazing.
So we're talking about Out for Justice Seagal.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Out for Justice was...
That's what I'm saying. Out for Justice Slim Seagal. He'll be back.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I'm welcoming this. I love the action genre. I think it's deteriorated into Expendables kind of stuff. And I think the high point of action was really the 80s. You got, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You used to go to his movies and you knew you're in for a good time. And same thing with Seagal. I mean, we talked about,
Norris.
Yep, the trifecta right there.
That's my childhood right there, man.
You're exactly right. I mean, you have Out for Justice, Under Siege, I think Fire Down Below.
Those are his 3 big ones, I
Those
think.
really, I mean, he's almost, I mean, he's in.
Any movie where he wears a vest and a beret, unironically. Oh, God, I loved it.
Oh, people, I mean, I see us sitting in the theater right now, and it's like you were like 7 years old again. It's amazing. Oh. This chill bumps that I'm getting is just amazing. So what
I
a
think
year
he's full
we
of
are
shit
into.
now.
What?
I think now I know he's full of shit.
This is where
I
you-
would like to see that. Oh, I would like to see that. This is another one connected to our last video. Okay. So superhero movies have been real bad lately. Last like 2 years they've been bad. And Deadpool 3 is going to be so good, we're going to forget all about just how the whole genre has been for 2 years. It's going to be that good. It's going to break box office records. It's going to guy Titanic the box office with a katana.
Didn't you hear earlier about every single Best Picture nominee is going
I
to be a
didn't say it was
DC
going to be
film?
nominated for Best Picture. I said it was going to break box office records, which is where we know all the clout really
No one
matters.
will be talking about Deadpool.
Everyone will be talking about
No,
Deadpool.
they will be talking about Superman, Batman, The Flash, The Atom, Challengers
Hopefully
of
they
the Unknown,
recasted a lot of those.
Plastic Man. I mean,
Plastic Man. Oof.
what, Mr. Fantastic? We can't have Plastic Man?
I guess you could if you wanted to.
Dial H for Heroes. See?
Tell G for gay. Oh, I'll have to edit that out.
You obviously have great expectations for
I'm not saying it's going to be like a 9 out of 10. I think it's going to be a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. But I think it's going to really scratch an itch people needed.
Yep. I've looked, I've seen, you are true. It is true.
It is true.
It is.
Number 3.
A new horror renaissance.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, it is a total, it's as if there was never horror movies done before and we created horror the first time. There are no
horror
nuns,
Garden
no
of Eden.
priests, no possessed dolls, no jump scares. There are no predictable plots. They're compelling. They're great. They're not special effects driven. They truly do. They play towards the fears that we have, the psychological fears, the spiritual fears, the economic fears, the familial fears that we have. Some humorous, some thrilling. It is going to be. You know, we've talked about horror and how we've gone through. You have the 30s and the 40s and what that did, and then you have the Hammer film period that we had, and of course the 70s and 80s, which I think was really one of the best kind of stuff. It was fun when you when you got that.
Fun. Very good
And
word
I
for that.
think we have been this desert of horror that
It's all
is
been
just
a music video.
too predictable, too repetitious kind of stuff.
Too visually
and
driven.
it's just simply, it is the problem isn't the films, the problem is the audience. Because they just go to it, but
Screw you.
yeah, you're the one. Stop going to it. If they stop going to it, the people will stop making them. We, in 2024, will finally see that period. We're going to be talking 20 years from now. People are going to be talking about, remember back in 2024? Man,
Golly.
that's when it was, yeah, horror was dead. And then it's like 2024 came around and it changed everything.
God darn it.
Yep. I have seen it. Thus it is so, it shall be done.
So, last year was dubbed the year of the Suckwool. This year too. Only maybe not so much in an aspect of the sequel. These are going to be some long-awaited reimaginings. Some of them are sequels. Some of them are retellings. But how have you? This is going to be a year of those. And I'm sorry to say they all probably going to, or they're, for the most part, they're all going to suck.
So you have low expectations for films in 2024.
Low expectations for non-standalone films. I got a few.
What do you mean non-standalone?
Well, so they're not products that stand by themselves. They're either connections to other films while
Trilogies, reboots.
not being reboots, reimaginings.
Those are all going to suck.
Sort of universally adjacent products. I've got some to talk about. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, is going to be bad. Twisters is going to be bad. Kingdom for Planet of the Apes is going to be very forgettable. Gladiator 2 is going to be dog shit. Roadhouse is going to be good.
Furiosa, though, it's still, the director is still...
Yeah, it looks like the same flippin' movie. I'm sorry. Do me something different.
It
buddy
came,
boy.
remember when the most recent one came out, it was surprising. It's been a long time.
But it looks like the same
Does it?
movie to me. Let's do something different, my boy. You've been on this Mad Max kick for 50 years now, pal. Let's move on.
Well, you know what? That's a safe bet because a lot of those films in any given year are uninspiring. It's because accountants are making the decisions.
But I picked out some what I think people are expecting to be good ones to tell you that they're not going to be good. So the ones that you expect to be bad, they're going to be bad too.
Okay.
Except for Roadhouse. Roadhouse will be amazing.
Don't bet all your money in Vegas. My number
Beetlejuice
2.
2. Put that one in there.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. I bet almost would have been number 8 on here was going to be that Tim Burton should stop directing movies.
But Michael Keaton
Good
is
for
on
you.
fire.
Good for you, Mike. That's one of my least favorite of his performances.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Number 2.
Rebirth.
I don't get it.
A return of the revival house.
I was gonna
We
say-
need revival.
Rebirth was last year.
Rebirth of the revival house. You have no idea what I'm even talking about, do you?
Yeah, a revival house for films.
Yes.
Where they play old movies.
It used to be where films were seen. Films need to be seen on the big screen, right?
They do.
And by big screen, I mean something the size of a city block.
Not in your home.
We have chopped up theaters, started in the 70s, and then it became the Westland 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing, and now it's the megalopolis of 20, 25
I
kind
want
of
to own
stuff.
a movie theater.
Yeah. I see in 2024 a rebirth of that, where people could see films. I know Castro Theater in San Francisco is one of these. Minneapolis has one. It used to be much more common, where they change the bill every day or two. So you knew you get a month calendar.
Yeah, so you can go to the movie every other day at least.
Right. But not only that, is typically it was more than just one film. So you could go in and you'd see like 3 Woody Allen movies that were all
Yeah.
played. It opens up the opportunity to program. So you can program around themes. You could say, the best of Bond, or you could show the original and a remake at the same time kind of stuff. It really opens itself up for appreciators
It's like a
of film.
station or a channel that you can run almost.
Yes, but it is on the big screen, and it's exciting. And when I came to this realization was back in the 70s, and I think I mentioned this before in one of our episodes, and it was in the movie That's Entertainment. And it was an MGM film, which is just simply clips of all the famous MGM musicals that were, influential, and had a bunch of stars that would introduce each one. And this was a massive, people were waiting in line to see That's Entertainment. And I went and saw it in high school. And I remember, I grew up in the generation that, obviously before streaming and all that stuff, and you only had 3 channels, that they would play The Wizard of Oz every single year. They put it on TV. And I remember watching the clip from it on That's Entertainment, and my jaw dropped, because I'm used to seeing it on a
teeny.
black and white TV kind of thing. To see it in color on the big screen, it literally took my breath away. And I think that we miss that. We miss the opportunity to see films, not only films on a big screen, but to go and there are a lot of people out there that you've seen Jaws, but you've never seen Jaws on a big screen. And it's a different film on the big screen.
I think revival houses also, they made it a little bit more accessible money-wise too, because they're not these big chain theaters, and their price points are different because they're not throwing money at the big movies that are coming out.
Yep.
So they can afford to spend less on other stuff. That's why they get a little more niche markets. Maybe they'll have like beer or pizza or something. So it's usually completely different type of atmosphere. And in some cases, they'll even have areas where you can talk and watch the movie at the same time if you want to like sit and have a drink or whatever. So I totally would dig something like that.
If I had the choice between watching a Blu-ray of a film or seeing it on the big screen, I'd go to the big screen every single time. I mean, especially if it has all the, like you're talking about, pizza and beer and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's a different experience that we've lost. That.
It'd be nice to own a movie theater, then you can just go watch movies whenever you want it.
It's really interesting, because I was doing, I do a lot of research in anticipation. I wondered about movies coming out. And what I found was, it's like I say, when the number of movies that are released every single year. So I went back and I'm looking at everything from from 1910, 1920, the 30s, 40s, all the way up to modern day. And actually around the 30s and 40s was where it's like the number of 13,000 films that were released in a year. And then it gradually declined and then started to increase up around 2000. And then we saw this other decline when COVID happened. We saw films just sort of grind, and now it's starting back up again. But the interesting thing was, back in the 30s and 40s, 80%
It's a lot.
of the U.S. population went to the movies theater every single week. 80%.
That's crazy.
80%. I mean, that was the thing to do. And so that's why, hence, you need a lot of films.
Well, yeah, but there's no phones, where there's no TVs like that. I mean, less people had
Right.
televisions.
And then when TV around the 50s started to
Every
increase,
home.
then people started to not go to the theaters. Hence, the movie theaters are trying to entice people back in. You have air conditioning, and then you would have
Sound.
3D. You know, this all about trying
THX
to things you
getting
can't
better.
get in
Yep.
the theater. And I think it's still true now. There are things that you can't get at home in the theater.
Like, for instance, when they do the 70 millimeters, that's like, I want to go see that because we don't have 70 millimeter at home.
Think about to see Lawrence of Arabia in a 70 millimeter.
Or not at all.
Oh man, I would be there. I would, with a bucket of popcorn the size of a barge.
Scratching a hole in it like a rat in a barge.
Oh, I'm telling you. And the beauty is, I've seen the future. They're coming back. 2024 revival houses.
Now, I didn't look at numbers and I didn't count this, but this is more from, I think, from a perspective of humans and what they sort of take in with their media, right? So I think this is going to be a very quiet year for Disney and Marvel. They took a lot of heat in the public opinion for how they're handling of PR and handling of, casting and hiring, the processes in those. Marvel's been caught pushing their sort of like overly aggressive agendas in their films, and it's been hit with a little bit of a backlash in terms of viewership's gone just rock bottom viewership. They can't get people to pay for their streaming services anymore, and I think they've realized that they've maybe been a little too aggressive in some of their stances, and they need to sort of step out of the light a little bit. Now it's flipping Disney and Marvel. How quiet can you be? So it's sort of take that with what you will, but I think that we're not going to see them dropping as many trailer announcements. They're just going to be a little more quieter about what they do, I think, and in turn hope that maybe people will forget how they pissed them off, and then in 2025 they can start it again.
Do you think this is also related to the fact that every single Best Picture next year will be a DC
I'm
film?
sure if that happens.
So they're quieting down because they just,
When the rumble's so loud on the other end of the other corner, then yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Maybe.
Would it be great?
And maybe Bob Iger can apologize. That'd be nice. That's all it takes. Hey, we're sorry.
Yeah,
We screwed up.
yeah.
Please come watch our movies again. And I'll be like, take my money.
If you have a good product and you allow people to find your product, and
Because what created Marvel, that monstrosity when it was just killing it, they weren't trying to do anything. They had released some good single movies and they thought this was a good time. That's you can't force things normally. You just gotta let them come to you.
yep,
So there's that.
I agree. I agree.
Number 1.
My number one, revelation, observation, which I was shocked. You have no idea how shocked I was when I saw it. I actually broke down in tears.
That's not hard to believe. Now I know he's being truthful.
But what I saw when I peered into the future, this vast light that was walking into a completely different way of film presentation in the U.S. What I saw was
Smell-o-vision?
films coming into the theater. Every single movie released went into the theaters and played for at least 6 months. 6 months. I was shocked when I saw it. And then, and only then, released on VHS, right?
And then they had to wait a week.
And then DVD for a year. Then released simultaneously for streaming and on every platform. Every single movie in the theater. 6 months.
That's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. That's why movies are so crazy now. I think about this all the time. A movie would come out, oh, that trailer, that movie looks good. I'll see that in a year. And then a year from now, when it's out of the theaters, then I'll be able to buy the VHS of it. And it would be, there's the disconnect of like seemingly at least a year between a release in the theater and a release to be able to watch at home. And it ain't going to be on TV for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years after that.
Yep.
How crazy is that crap? Now it's in the theaters, and they used to lie to us. Oh, we got to print copies of it. Ugh. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, I also think the internet ruined films because of the instantaneous nature of it. So
Yeah, they get
people
really-
can
yeah,
go and
absolutely.
watch a movie and immediately they can trash it online, where it used to be, if it was and they're bad movies, but you'd have a chance for people to go in until word of mouth got around
Nobody
to
read
show
the
that it
papers,
was,
yeah.
it was bad.
4 stars in the
But
paper.
also, how many times have you seen? I've been watching a lot of movies, and I'll go and I'll look on Rotten Tomatoes, and like I watched a movie last night, which I did it only because of trying to be a good husband, and it had a 28% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
What was it?
What Comes Later, and it was the guy from X-Files,
David Duchovny.
Duchovny, and Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan directs. The entire movie takes place in an airport. The entire
dear
movie, they're
God
just
in
talking.
heaven. Oh,
They
that
used
sounds
to,
like fun.
It was 21%
Sequels
critic,
and the
28%
D&D.
audience, and I will tell you, it was it was. I really did almost die during it, but it wasn't as bad as it was 28%. And I did it, and if I were just looking at those scores alone, I wouldn't have done it. Now I did it because obviously I'm trying to find a rom-com, and she knew. She said, I feel bad watching this because I know you're going to be in pain. I said, yeah, but that's okay. That's what good husbands do. I think sometimes that people shy away from movies. How many times have you seen a score, whether it's IMDb or whether it's Megacritic or something, and you say, that doesn't make sense to me. I like that movie. I think sometimes we just have to go with it or find a reviewer that you tend to agree with more. That used to be for Roger Ebert. I used to always kind of be in line with what he thought. And having it available in the theater for a longer period of time gives you a chance to find undiscovered films. Like we talk about Shawshank Redemption, and it didn't do that well. The Wizard of Oz was kind of a failure when and now it's like it's a seminal film kind of thing. But no, I would love, and I remember the time. I talk about VHS, and the reason that I saw that is that remember how nice that was to go to the video store, and now it's too easy. Now when you have everything to choose from. But to go into a store with a limited amount of space, shelf space, they couldn't have every movie ever made. And
like
here's
they
the
did,
new
though.
releases, and then here's the other by category. And then you would buy, you're not going to take 20 movies home, but you buy 3, get 3 to go home. How exciting that was
That's
to go
the
home
best.
and pop it in the thing. And we've just sort of...
I still kind of do that, but it's a little smaller scale. Like every Friday night, I want to watch a movie after work, and do a pizza or something, and then I go to Prime and I'll go to the buy or rent section and kind of flip through that way. So you get to see the cover. The best part about being now is that if I sit on it for a second, it'll show me the trailer. So I like the tangibility, and I believe they're trying to bring back some rental places.
Well, Blockbuster's supposed to be, they're back in business. Now, nobody knows what that means. I checked that like 2 months ago, and I saw if you do blockbuster.com and you Google it, the page comes up. It says, ooh, coming soon.
I think it could work in the right places if they could. The streaming model can work, but you have to have access to everything. Whether it's all free or you have to pay for some of it, but if there's one streaming service that has access to everything, that's what people are going to go to.
When you see a movie that is released streaming right out of the gate, do you think that it has the same quality as it would have been in the theater?
What do you mean?
I think sometimes for me, the answer to that question is no. I just think like it's remember you used to have direct to video, and we've assumed that direct to video means it
not very
wasn't good enough to so I have that same sort of bias. I think, well, if it's good, why didn't it go out into the theaters?
And the real reason is money. Is it costs money to get a seat at the table.
Yeah.
They would never put Fate Alchemy in the movie theater. We'd have to go pay some small theater to, play that sucker for a day. It's just not feasible.
Well, I like the movies in the theater, and I think we just don't give movies a chance to do that. And I also think that some of these tentpole movies, really the big action, the Fast and Furious and the Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff, you saw Barbie, and you go into a 20 Metroplex, how many screens were Barbie? And then not that there's not other movies that could be there, but it's all about, and people think, it's almost it's like, oh, Barbie is in 7 screens. It must be a really good movie. I'm going to go see that. And when you see a movie that's just in 1 screen, you think, oh, that's just kind of taking up
Because it's
space.
not about the quality of the movie. It's about marketing the movie. It's about getting butts in the seats. So it's not about, once you pay for the movie, they got you. It doesn't matter how good the movie is. Yeah. It's about how they market the movie to you.
I just want more movies, all movies, and thankfully that's what happens in 2024. Trust me, it's going to happen.
And I think this is my number one, but I don't think this should be shocking to anybody, and that is that Joker Folie 2. I probably did a better time this time. You're welcome, French folks.
You sound so. Does your dog bite?
Is going to win another lead actor Oscar. This time, Best Female Actress. Lady Gaga is going to nail this sucker. I just have a feeling. I think I've been resistant to her in the past because of her star power. I even avoided an entire season of American Horror Story, which led to me stopping watching the show altogether. But watching her in A Star Is Born, she got it. She's just one of those, Bette Midler type actresses that just can flip and do it. And again, I saw some of her. I finally heard her singing in this because it's a musical in essence. Her singing, it's very, very vaudevillian.
Joker is a musical?
Yes, I believe so. That's what I told you. It's going to be different. It's not going to be the same cut and dry schlep, even though it was a great movie.
Does he sing?
I don't think he sings much at all. I think I have an idea of what the story is about based on what I've gleaned, but I don't want to see a trailer for it. I won't watch anymore. I got a good picture in my mind. I'm going to go see it day one. But I think she's going to just be that extra bit. It's going to be different than the Harley Quinn that we've seen before. She's not, she's not a sex object as she's been out in some of these films before, different than Margot Robbie. As good as she is, okay, fine, if you like her, great. I don't have an affinity for Harley Quinn in the slightest. In fact, I think she's just kind of a tentpole character to get girls involved in Batman, which is fine, again, if that's your shtick. But she's going to be different. This is not a sex symbol in the slightest. She's going to be bat poop insane. But it's going to be fun, it's going to be crazy, and I think she's going to absolutely blow everyone away. And when does the movie come out this year? Did I write that down? October 4, so, it's towards the end of the year too, so that's a good thing.
What do you think the impact of the Barry Keoghan Joker is going to have on what you're saying?
It's different altogether. In fact, okay if I never saw him again as it, but he'll nail it. It'll just be different.
He needs some chapstick.
Boy, oh boy, does he. Love that clip. That clip was so difficult to say no to it, even though it makes no sense for the video.
Yeah. Well, once again, we've come to the end of another episode of the Desert Island Institute of Film, and you clearly see the difference in approach that we made. First of all, it's nice that we wound up doing this without fighting with each other. But we clearly came at this from different perspectives. Dr. Paul gave you his predictions for 2024.
I didn't realize I was supposed to bring my crystal ball.
I gave you the actuals for 2024. So don't put any of your hard-earned money in Vegas on anything he said, other than I think that Deadpool will probably perform like he was saying. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lady Gaga winds up with a Best Actress nomination at all.
And I'm saying she's going to not only she's going to get nominated, she's going to win it.
Yeah, I don't know. But everything that you heard, the sage wisdom observation, I can't say wisdom because it's not me. It's me just simply looking into the future to be able to see it. And it's a wonderful, and unfortunately, my crystal ball, it's like it no longer works. That was it. So this is not something that we're going to be able to do ever again. No. Yeah, it's a
That's a pretty
dangerous.
crappy crystal ball.
Oh, it's a dangerous thing to be able to look into the future.
You should have got one at Costco.
Yes, and I had this. I knew that it worked. And of course, what I'm going to do with the crystal ball is I'm going to look and talk about movies. So as opposed to, like, how's my cancer or anything, it's things like that.
He's
So,
broken.
Yeah, no. We hope 2024 is full of hope for you. It is. And that you get with your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, family members, your best friends, your wife, your kids. Go to the
Imaginary
movies.
friends.
Yeah. Go to the movies and have a good time. Don't talk, okay? Because you do not want to have to be forced lethal
The film
injection.
Gestapo.
Yes. And enjoy your make sure you get some concessions, because the poor movie theaters are just, they're hurting, amount of money that they really don't make much
No, they don't.
at all. But we like your input, your thoughts about this, future episodes, new episode every Thursday, or money back guarantee for what
We get money back?
we're going to pay them double their money back. Yeah, we do.
I guess I'll just have to upload a video then.
All right. I, on a personal level, looking forward into the crystal ball, see great things for the Desert Island Institute of Film. We're gonna finish our first year. We will be named the best movie podcast on all of YouTube, of which will
The
result.
best movie podcast for your dog.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite episodes. Movies to watch with your dog, kind of stuff.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, we do. We do. It's just different, and it's not, So send us your ideas, and like us, subscribe to us, leave us in your will. What else did we say?
Start with that
That's
one.
a good thing, and we will see you back at the movies.